What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So things are just getting weirder and weirder, and to be quite honest, it's almost comical at this point between Tony Buzbee, who is representing accusers of P. Diddy and Jay-Z at this point, and Jay-Z and Rock Nation. So now there's apparently an all-out smear campaign going on where Rock Nation is going behind Tony Buzbee's back and soliciting either former clients or new clients to come and make accusations towards him. At least this is what Tony Buzbee is alleging. Okay. Attorney Tony Buzbee dismissed the complaint as a smear campaign. Tony Buzbee, the attorney representing Diddy and Jay-Z sexual assault accusers, has been hit with another lawsuit. According to the legal documents obtained by TMZ, the Texas-based lawyer is being sued by an alleged ex-lover identified as Jane Doe. The plaintiff claims she met Buzbee online in 2018 and was so charmed by the man that she accepted his date invitation. Jane Doe said that she traveled to the attorney's hometown of Houston, Texas, where they went to dinner and saw a show before returning to a hotel room. The woman alleged she had sexual intercourse with Buzbee that night. However, the attorney failed to reveal he had a venereal disease. Jane Doe claimed she began feeling uncomfortable sensations around her groin the following day and scheduled a doctor's appointment shortly after. The woman said she tested positive for an undisclosed sexually transmitted disease and immediately alerted Buzbee. However, she claimed the man didn't even seem too shocked and offered to compensate her with free legal advice. Free legal advice for what? Like, you're accusing me of giving you a sexually transmitted disease, so I'm going to give you legal advice on how you should go about suing me for giving you a sexually transmitted disease. That's just so weird to me. I'm just imagining, they have this night together. The next day, she's like, what the hell's going on down here? Goes to the doctor, finds out she has this STD, calls Tony Buzbee, hey, I have an STD, and his only response is, hey, shh, if you'll keep this, shh, then I'll give you some free legal advice. What? That doesn't even make any sense. Buzbee denied the allegations and dismissed the suit as part of a smear campaign. And this is in quotes. Today I was sued yet again by a lawyer affiliated with the same lawyers I face in the Diddy litigation, he wrote on Instagram. The conspiracy to discredit me and intimidate me from pursuing claims in the Diddy litigation has, at this point, become criminal. This latest case, like the others, is frivolous, laughable, and ridiculous and will be dismissed like the others. All right. Now, obviously, Rock Nation has responded to this with a post that has been deleted multiple times on Instagram. Now, Jay-Z is making himself and Rock Nation look bad by getting online and rubbing this in his face that this is happening to him. Whether it is the fruits of their efforts or not, which most people think it is, I tend to think it is. But listen, it may be false. It may not be false. Maybe the guy really has a venereal disease. Maybe the guy really went out with this woman. Maybe he really gave this woman a venereal disease. And if that's the case, he should know better. He should have disclosed that before having sex with the woman. I mean, let's get real. None of us know for sure. But the fact that Rock Nation has posted and then deleted up to 5 different times this same post, kind of rubbing it in his face, because obviously Tony Buzbee is accusing Jay-Z and Rock Nation and his affiliates and attorneys of, being behind this accusation. Essentially saying this is a smear campaign, this never happened, it's frivolous, whatever, and they are getting people to make these false claims, they being Jay-Z and Rock Nation and his attorneys, getting this woman to make these false claims to detract from or redirect folks' attention over here. Hey, hey, look over here, this is going on, while, trying to take people's attention away from what Jay-Z and P. Diddy are actually being accused of. Now, listen, I've already said that there are holes all in the Jane Doe's case and the 13-year-old who was supposedly, sexually assaulted by Diddy and Jay-Z. I mean, I've listened to all of the details of that case, even according to her. And I'm sorry, there's so many holes. You just can't believe it. It all seems like bullshit. I think there's no doubt that this is a person who is trying to get some money. Okay. And Tony Buzbee is playing his part and trying to help her get the money, right? But I also, at the same time, think it's a mistake for Jay-Z and them to be sitting over there on the sidelines laughing it up and oh, because if you're an innocent man and you know that you're innocent, you shouldn't have to do all that. You know what I mean? You should just be able to rest on your laurels, be able to sit in the confidence and the silence of knowing, hey, I didn't do this, so I'm not really worried about it. God's got my back, that sort of thing, right? And I just think that the fact that Jay-Z and them are kind of leaning into this in an aggressive, so in a intimidating sort of way, I just think it makes them look bad. And if he is truly innocent of these rape allegations and stuff, then I wish he would. I wish he would just stop, leaning into this stuff and responding. As far as I'm concerned, when Tony Buzbee put out what he put on Instagram, blaming Jay-Z and Rock Nation for being behind this woman who's coming forward and claiming that Tony Buzbee gave her some venereal disease back in the day, back in 2018 or whenever it was, they should have just sat, and if you wanted to laugh about it in the background, then laugh about it in the background. Don't publicly get on Instagram and make your own post, kind of, laughing it up about what the guy's going through. Because here's the post that Rock Nation put up in response to Tony Buzbee accusing Jay-Z and Rock Nation of being the one to put this woman up to filing this lawsuit, okay? Mr. 1800 said today that Rock Nation is criminally responsible for his legal woes with his ex-client's ex-lover, who is accusing him of transmitting venereal diseases, assaulting, falsifying documents, and stealing clients' money. No and no, the company wrote on X. God is behind that sunlight you keep referencing, the statement added, referencing Buzbee's use of the quote, sunlight is the best disinfectant. We are not the source of every sunlight you get, but rock sunshine is coming your way, Mr. 1800. Shameful. Oh, man. This stuff is get these two egomaniacs just having it out in public on Instagram. And apparently, Rock Nation or whoever's responsible for leaving these posts took it down and then reposted it multiple different times, which makes it look even worse, And again, my whole thing behind it is, Jay-Z, you are the head of Rock Nation. You are the guy who is worth $3 billion. Okay. So if you are truly innocent of what you are being accused of, don't stoop to this level of trying to organize this smear campaign to try to get back at this lawyer for having the nerve to come after you and having the nerve to mention you in this way in public. Now, listen, I don't necessarily think that it's right what Tony Buzbee is doing. I believe that even in a civil case where the proof of burden is much, much lower, I don't think that there is enough evidence there, even in a civil case, to cause this Jane Doe to get anything from Jay-Z. Okay, I've heard the details, and they are just absolutely too sketchy. I mean, her own father doesn't even corroborate her version of events that night. Okay? And she has absolutely no other witnesses. The only name and birth date that she gave of any other witness was the person who supposedly drove her 5.5 hours to New York City that night when she was 13 years old and dropped a 13-year-old girl off in New York City by herself, might I add. They get the birth date and the name of this person and they go look it up. This person's passed away. Well, how convenient. The only other person besides your father that may have any recollection and may be able to witness to and speak to this whole trip to New York City and event happening, the only other person besides your father is this person who is now deceased. Well, what do you know? How convenient that is. She's not there to confirm or deny anything, is she? And then the father, who's still alive, says he doesn't remember anything about it. He was supposedly the one that came and picked her up from New York City that night after this, horrible assault took place, right? He doesn't remember it. He doesn't remember it, you know. And unless you have some sort of diagnosed form of dementia or something like that, which he does not, you're going to remember something like having to drive 5.5 hours each way. That's 10, 11 hours of total driving that you had to go and pick up your 13-year-old daughter in a completely different city, 5.5 hours away. You wouldn't remember that? Of course you would remember that. It's obvious that that never happened. Plus, she had all kinds of other details that were. She said she vividly remembers standing on the street watching the jumbotron. They look back in history, and the VMAs in the year 2000 couldn't get a permit for the jumbotron. There was no jumbotron. You had Eminem and performing in the streets and things like that, but there was no jumbotron that year. So it's just things like that. I believe she's lying, and I believe there's not enough evidence for Jay-Z to become civilly liable for this at all. So if that's the case, why do this? Why the smear campaign? Why go after Tony Buzbee the way that you are, and make this post on X, rubbing it in, and I mean, just stay quiet. I think what it shows is that Jay-Z and Rock Nation are not above intimidation tactics. And the same thing, with P. Diddy. I mean, one of the main things that you hear about these guys is their intimidation tactics, and this God complex that they have, where they feel like because they have all this money, because they have all this influence, that they should be able to almost play God with people's lives, kind of like they're doing now if they are, in fact, part of this smear campaign against Tony Buzbee. And I tell you, man, these guys get to a certain level of money and power and control, and they just think the whole world is just a big chessboard where they can just move pieces at their own discretion, however they feel like moving them. Whether that hurts other people or not is irrelevant to them. They don't care. And I'm going to end with this. We're talking about control, intimidation, and stuff like that. And this is a little bit kind of a sidebar, but I saw a article today that is titled "Liam Payne said he was fearful of P. Diddy after sharing an elevator with him and Jay-Z in chilling interview." And I looked at that and I was like, that's interesting, because we're talking about, the fact that these guys have these need for, the control and the intimidation tactics and things like that. And Jay-Z, being accused of trying to, paying these clients off to make these complaints against Tony Buzbee to kind of deflect from what the real issue is, of his rape allegations and things like that. And then I see something like this. Liam Payne tragically passed away at age 31 after a fall from a balcony in Buenos Aires. He once opened up about the most daunting celebrity experience he ever had. Liam Payne once admitted to feeling fearful of P. Diddy during a chat on the Graham Norton show. He described an intimidating encounter with the music mogul and other A-list celebrities, saying, "I went over to speak to him and Jay-Z, and as I shook his hand, he just chuckled. The most evil laugh I've ever heard. So I'm a little bit fearful of that man." Payne remembered the incident happening while P. Diddy, also known as Sean Combs, was with Jay-Z and Leonardo DiCaprio. Despite thinking Diddy appeared to be the most approachable star present, Payne realized he had missed the mark. He labeled the experience the most daunting celebrity encounter in what now appears to be a harrowing interview. I mean, obviously he passed away recently, God rest his soul, but did he have something personally against P. Diddy and or Jay-Z or anything else? And he describes this. Imagine that. You go up to shake someone's hand, they literally just chuckle. Not hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Are you having fun? Appreciate you coming up. Good to talk to you. Your band's doing its thing. Congratulations on your success. I mean, nothing, right? He chuckled at him. And this is in front of Jay-Z and Leonardo DiCaprio, right? I just think it speaks to the kind of person that P. Diddy is, and possibly the kind of person that Jay-Z is. And that's why I think this smear campaign that's going on and him being so quick to, and his company being so quick to jump online and defend themselves and stick themselves right in the middle of it and almost poke fun at him for supposedly giving some woman an STD, right? No, bro, no. That's making you look worse. It's making you look like you will stoop to new lows to get back at somebody. That's not a good look when you're in a serious legal battle, that could potentially find you being liable for the rape of a child. That not a good look, bro. If you're innocent, shut your mouth, throw away the key, and sit on the side and don't say anything. I mean, that's the best move. That's the best thing you can do. Uh, I don't know, man. Some of these people, their egos are so massive that they just, I mean, literally to them, money can buy anything, and the whole world revolves around them, and the whole world is a big chessboard where they can just knock this one off. Oh, I think I want that space right there. Knock this one off and crown that one. And, they think they can do whatever they want. But anyway, that's it. This shit's getting almost comical at this point. Obviously, rape of a minor is nothing funny about that. Obviously, not disclosing that you have a venereal disease and giving another person a venereal disease, knowing that you have that venereal disease. That's not funny either. Let's get real. But it is funny in the sense that if this is an actual smear campaign by Jay-Z and Rock Nation, this guy who has all of these cases against Diddy, and just to try to take him off of his game, it's just like, geez, man, these people have too much money and too much freaking time on their hands. I mean, you really have time to orchestrate all this shit? Man, I guess I'll never understand. I guess I'm not worth $3 billion either, so I guess I wouldn't understand. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. Do leave a comment down below. Please do subscribe to the channel if you would. If you've been watching my videos, it helps me and it helps the algorithm to ram my stuff down people's throats if you do subscribe to it. Right? Because I can look at the analytics and see there's a lot of people watching my content, but then people aren't subscribing. And there's people that are returning and watching it over and over again, but aren't subscribing. please do hit the subscribe button. It's very important. It would help me out a lot. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next video. All right, peace.